Imagine I could learn everything about Yerushalayim. And I was in Yerushalayim. But you know one thing? I don't smell with Yerushalayim. You know what that means? It didn't really get inside of you. I can be a paid lecturer and give speeches on Yerushalayim. I can even write a paperback book and make money on it. But if I don't smell from it, that means it never got into me. You know? Some people talk about God the whole time, right? Give out books and everything. Sit there, roll their eyes, and everything is cute and holy. But somehow they don't smell with God, you know. They don't smell with it. And there are some people, the real people, they smell so good. Smell so good. You know, sometimes you meet parents and you watch them and they tell their children, this, lovey, lovey. And your nose tells you just it isn't real. And then you meet some holy parents and they smell like parents. They really smell. So before I say goodbye to Shabbos, I say, please Shabbos, I'm begging you, can you please get into me so deep that wherever I go I should smell with you. That wherever I walk people should say, this Yidele had a real good Shabbos, you know. And I want to share this with you, friends. If I had a good steak and you didn't, it's just too bad for you. But if I had a good Shabbos and you see me on Wednesday walking on the street and I smell with Shabbos and the whole Shabbos gets right into you. Just one smell. One smell. And you see the difference between the missionaries for Shabbos, the messengers of Shabbos, and the messengers of Coca-Cola is very simple. The messengers of Coca-Cola give a big speech. I mean the Coca-Cola God. And they're the Shabbos sticker God. The God of Coca-Cola, big speeches. Shabbos sticker messengers, they smell so good, you know. Ay, Gewalt, does it smell. Don't know if I told you, the Holy Sochotsheva, he was very strong on that. Thousands of people would come from all over the world to talk to him. And so his thing was, when a person walked in through the door, he would not look at them. He would sit there for a few minutes, inhale the air, you know. Smells, what kind of vibrations, what kind of a smell. And then according to that, sometimes he would shake this person's hand, and sometimes he would not shake this person's hand. And how sad to be in the Sochotshava's presence, not to shake his holy hand. Anyway, I want you to bless me, and I want you to bless you. Let's bless each other. Oh, Gewalt, we need the holy smell of Shabbos, of holiness, of realness. You know, we have so many friends, but not all of them have the smell of friendship. You know. The holiest thing in the world is that every word you utter should be heard and should be smelled. That every action I'm doing should have such a holy smell. I want to share this with you. The Gemara says, Chayev inish lipsume bepurim ad layad. A person has to be so drunk on Purim. But you know what lipsume really means if you translate it properly? Lipsume comes from the word psumim. On Purim a person has to smell so much. Right? Because you have on Purim. Meaning to say, maybe Shabbos you can get by without smelling. Purim is so real. If you don't smell Purim Dik, you didn't do it. So we got to bless each other. You know, everything we believe in, everything we know should be real in the deepest, deepest depths of us. And then something else happens. After the smell of Shabbos is upon us, then the light of Shabbos is upon us. Gewalt, do we have a light? So beautiful. You see, the people who don't smell, they don't have a light either. Everything they say is dark. They talk about light, but it's the darkest light there is. Because do you know something? You think darkness is dark? There is a certain light which is darker than all the darkness in the world. Because dark is real good light, because dark never said I'm light. Darkness was never lying to you. But imagine if light comes to you and says I'm light, but it's not light. That's the most awful darkness there is, right? So during the week, I'm begging God, please keep my eyes open. I shouldn't fall for that darkness which calls itself light. You know, friends, Gewalt, I hate to say bad things. 99% of the light of the world is absolute darkness. It's awesome darkness. The world thinks there's such a thing as civilization, right? The world calls civilization light. It's Murder Incorporated, right? Is it anything else? Has civilization made human beings out of us? If a human being makes it, it's just a miracle from God, not because of civilization. Okay, you can say a lot of miracles are happening, that I'll admit, But there is civilization, it's a lie, right? Then some people say, I'm an intellect. Have you ever heard such a lie in your life? What do you really understand? If you understand something, why don't you do it? Can you imagine I will tell you I understand that this is poison, then I'm eating it. What does it mean? I really didn't understand what poison is all about, right? Because if you understand it, and if you're normal, you don't eat it. You know what the world is talking about? How many books are written on love, on peace, on everything in the world? And the people themselves don't do it, right? Remember I told you that this man wrote a book on love, and someone knocks on the door late at night, and he says, listen, please give me some bread, I'm starving. He says, what a chutzpah, to disturb me. Don't you see I'm writing a book on love? How can you disturb me in the middle? Okay, friends, now can we get even closer? We gotta do it. Gotta do it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagofen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei psomim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei hamiyarei oesh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdir ben kodesh lechoil ben oil lachoshech ben Yisroel amin ben yom hashvi l'sheshes yemei hamaseh. Baruch atah Adonai hamavdir ben kodesh lechoil. A good Woche, a süße Woche, a good week, a holy week. La la la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
Look in the camera and again say something about your husband, just like that, for the future history. with that tone, whatever it is, say whatever you want.
No.
Please?
No.
I want to show it to you 20
You
years from
say it's
now.
my fault all the time that you couldn't see the baby's face.
Mm.
She is the way she is. She's lying down. She's moving on the light.
Daddy's right.
Boo!
You want to look at Daddy, Mommy?
Ciao, Juliana.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Yes, she answered you.
Yeah. 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 More. Talk with those big blue eyes. Huh? Ha. Ha ha ha. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Jojo. Well, it could still use a little bit of hand under the head.
This is beautiful. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Oh, what a dog. See? Look at me.
Oh yeah.
Look at me standing up. Look at me standing up.
Daddy is afraid to fall with the camera.
How
He
pretty.
doesn't have enough space
How
to see us standing up.
pretty. How about back there, Dad?
Yeah, that's better.
Woo! Wiggle wobble, wiggle wobble.
Okay, Daddy will almost finish the tape.
Zippity doo dah. Let's zoom. Zoom into the camera. Zoom. Zoom. Ooh, pussy baby.
Don't move from there, don't move from there, don't move from there.
I love you.
Wanna say to Daddy too, in the camera? Looking with your eyes open.
Oh. Gesundheit. That's why we're sneezing, because we don't have any socks on. And our feet are freezing.
You got one. Just tell me where you want it. Let him try it.
I want it on
Salad. You don't know until he tries it on. Let him try it.
Take some I can't see anything.
It's because we were on TV. There's a Zoom that you can do that with.
Work on the fire. We have a lot of bread. We have all the
Hymnals up there. Would you be so kind as to put this on that on my pile there? It's not very focused.
Okay, you focus at the end lens by turning this until it looks good. Yeah.
Wait, go here and get more. Not very good. Just one shot. I can't see anything. Could you focus it? Here, let me see it. Oh, Mom. Mom. Hey, this is getting...
I never made it until
I can see.
I've seen these things before.
Someone left it on.
This is $1,700 on this one.
This deck, camera.
Workshop.
Try not to point it at bright lights or the sun because it will burn the Vidicon tube.
You just put here?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Would you like to put this down? There's a
You're
zoom,
on TV.
there's a zoom here and focus at the end. This is the zoom. Right there. Let's focus back.
Okay, let's do it. How are we getting? How are you starting?
All right.
Let's see what I just did.
And if I'm ever maligned again, I know the answer to it. I'm going to sue them, not for damages. I'm going to sue for the purpose of demonstrating the truth in court. And as a remedy, I'm going to ask that the court order them to run a column that I will draft stating the truth as developed in court. In other words, now they can't claim I'm depriving the public of the truth. I'm really ensuring that they are getting the truth. And maybe that will work because, the Supreme Court of the United States has said that which amplifies discussion is not an impediment to the First Amendment. It's only that which eliminates subject matter from. And I believe in the First Amendment. I mean, don't misunderstand me. It's just that the media is economic. They're like anybody else. They have their biases. I mean, just because they're a group. I mean, they see their own problems. They say, well, they're going to be coming in here and getting our papers. They're going to be getting this. I understand that. But you can see the Congress is going after the president's papers.
Yeah,
they
but
go after.
Okay, let's go back to that discrepancy
private persons.
that you pointed out. Don't you think that there's some application of the concept of a legitimate news function involved there? While a reporter or a journalist or a cinematographer may have legitimate news uses for those things which he gathers. I can't see
none of us are immune. None of us are immune from testifying before a grand jury as to what we know about crime. For example, if I see a crime being committed and a grand jury calls me and I say, I don't want to know nothing about it. And I'm not going to testify. I'm thrown in contempt of court. I'm locked up. And because you work for the media, you should be able to say, well, I have a legitimate purpose. I think that's a denial of equal protection. Why should I be, put up in a rack, so to speak, and put in jail because I won't speak about something I saw? But you can go see it, write about it to the public at large, and there's, they can't make you tell about it. There was a very, very interesting article by a newsman against the Shield laws, and he believes that it puts it into the arbitrary hands of the reporter because the reporter may reveal it. He may elect to reveal it. He gets it from the source. And now he's the only one that determines whether the reporter, once acquiring it, is the only one that determines whether it will be exposed or not exposed, which is kind of crazy in its own way.
Yeah, but if I go thinking things in court, my sources are going to cut off immediately.
How about our informers? Police informers, same way. The point is, you know what I think it is in simple terms? Media is a coward. The media, to a real extent, is a coward. If they really believed in this, they would say, fine. I mean, you want to talk to us, fine. If you don't, but don't condition it on that I will or won't reveal it. Because when you tell it to me, if I feel that it merits exposure, I'm going to expose it. Then the guy's you got to clam his mouth or talk, knowing everything he says is going to come out. I have never used, the shield of this is off the record, except to the extent that I try to explain to him, say, now you're interviewing me not as Ray Markey, citizen, but as Ray Markey, Assistant Attorney General. Therefore, if I'm going to get in the area what I think, and it may be inconsistent with what my professional position should be from the standpoint of the office, that would embarrass the Attorney General, and I'm obliged not to say it or say it off the hook. I think you can understand that. If I disagree with General Shannon, if I disagree with a formal position by the elected Attorney General, I'm not willing to abide by that. I just shut my mouth or I get out. Now, he's never put a damper on any of us, just to make sure that we indicate with clarity that which is our own personal viewpoints and that which is official, official position. I can understand that because he's got to live around here too. And I think it's, these people who work for the Attorney General or work for a governmental agency, and then you say, well, now I can't tell you, you can't identify me, but I want you to know what this guy's doing. That's trash, man. I think most Americans resent this business about from a reliable informant. They say, hey, man, who is this guy? How do I know? Maybe he's mad at the guy because he went out with his girlfriend or, snaked him out or something. He's just vindictive. How can you evaluate the credibility of an unknown source of information? How do you know he's in a position to know that what he says is so is so? And so, I need to know who it is that says something. And I happen to think that if Bob Shevin, took a course of action which I would regard as really reprehensible or illegal or something like that, and it bothered, it got to be a real bother to me, I would resign. I'd say, first of all, I cannot work under these conditions, and I will not. And therefore I resign and I'd call a news conference and expose it. Now, if I'm unwilling to do that, I just think it's trash to work for man and here it comes out in the paper. I don't like that. Now, some people think that's the only way you can get to these public people. Now, I don't know. I just, sometime or another, you got to have guts. And I've walked out. I quit private practice. I walk right out of that guy because he insisted that I do something. Take a position in court. And I told him, hey, man, I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a fool. I'm not going to stand up in court and say that. And therefore, you take your partnership and you jam it where it'll do you the most good and walk down. And I think most people will do that. When it really gets down to the nitty-gritty of it, I think a lot of people know where the line is. I think a lot of them every day say, Elliot Richardson, classic example. There's a guy, he just says, I'm not going to do it. If you don't like it, then the thing for you to do is fire me or I'll resign. One of the two. And I think that's why everybody, is saying so many things about the man that they are, because I thought that took a lot of courage on his part, and I think it demonstrated to a lot of people that there are a lot of men that just simply are not going to engage in business as usual. And I don't like Sunday school tales, man. If you got the courage of your convictions, you say it anywhere. And if you're unwilling to identify yourself, then what good is it? Another thing I think another problem with the media is that they don't pay enough money to the on-scene gatherer of information. You get some guys, hey, what's happening? You tell him, and he writes down. I've seen quotes attributed to me that I remember the conversation vividly. And I didn't say that. It got all screwed up, not deliberately. In fact, the story was, favorable from my vantage point, placed it in a favorable context. But I just didn't say those things, and it went even along. The guy was, if anything, getting everybody screwed up in the process.
He was
Because
primarily
he was-
misquoting people, though. You didn't find it unduly subjective, though, did you?
Oh, no, it was negligence, man, laziness, unprepared. I mean, it wasn't competent journalism. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it was shady, it was, warped or anything else. I mean, there was one time that I've ever been badly treated by a news organization. It was in that case where we ultimately confessed error. And they accused us of all sorts of injustices down here. Kilpatrick picked it up and wrote a big editorial about the quality of the judicial system in Florida after we had confessed error and the Florida Supreme Court ordered a new trial. Never mentioned that. Now, what is that? What are you supposed to think when you get this condemning article of the Office of the Attorney General of the Judiciary of the state of Florida, and this thing comes after that very Attorney General's office goes in there and says these men are entitled to a new trial, and that very same judiciary orders a new trial in the case. I wrote Kilpatrick. I said, hey man, I don't know where you got your story from, but you certainly didn't verify it up before you printed it, because these are the true facts. Well, I never even got there wasn't even a follow-up article, nothing. And I resented this. I mean, I could see where if he wrote his article, then we confessed there, then we sent it to him and said, well, it was the pressure of my editorial, why should I, give you this? But we confessed there before his article appeared, you didn't know about it. So, I mean, his article couldn't have induced us to take a step for fear, the national. It's those kind of things. It's the mistakes. St. Pete Times wrote an article about a case I had, and